Hey everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast, where you get to learn everything you want to know about addiction and recovery. I'm your host, Angela Pugh, co-founder of Kansas City Recovery, life coach, and recovering alcoholic. To learn more about me, you can listen to episode 0 on your podcast app or find us on the web at addictionunlimited.com. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to another episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. I'm your coach, Angela Pugh, and let me start by saying happy holidays, my friend. Merry Christmas. It is actually Christmas Day right now. I'm recording this episode in real time. It's 8:02 a.m. my time right now on Christmas Day, and typically I have the podcast out by 8 a.m. Obviously, today it's late because it's 8:02 and I'm just recording it, but I swear I'm going to get it out ASAP. Listen, here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the topics that we've been covering the last month, right? Roadblocks to sobriety, recognizing early signs of relapse, building a recovery lifestyle, right? Holiday stressors and dealing with social situations. And I've created in the last month or so, I've created some really incredible resources for you guys to help get through this time. This is a challenging time for everyone. And all these topics that we've been covering have been intentional, right? I wanted to talk about this stuff partially because my personal experience, and I do want to get into some of my 2024 behind the scenes struggles because I think that's important to talk about. And it ties into all these topics, but also because we're going into dry January. This is going to be a fresh new year, a fresh new start. And this is your opportunity to really take whatever 2024 has handed you and make it your own for 2025. And that's what I want to get into. You guys, being sober and being in recovery, even for many, many years, like myself, doesn't mean that life stops happening. It doesn't mean that life isn't challenging. What I really want you to get in this whole journey is that when you have challenges, it's to urge you to do some work that you need to do. Challenges and obstacles and adversity in life are really letting you know, like, hey, this is some shit you need to work on. And that's what my whole year has been. I'm telling you, 2024 has been one of the hardest years I've had in a very, very long time. And all of my buttons were pushed in every area of my life. You know, I talk a lot about life domains. Every life domain available had stress for me. I had an enormous amount of stress and anxiety all year. I had romance struggles and heartbreak. I had financial struggles. I had business struggles. Went broke, right? Like I have multiple businesses. They've all struggled and have been really challenging in every way. And that's what life looks like, sober or not. And all the things we've been talking about, recognizing early signs of relapse, stressors, building that recovery lifestyle, roadblocks, sabotaging your sobriety. I have to still utilize all those tools, even this many years in. That's what I want you to get in this whole conversation. What I talk about are the foundational skills you need on a daily basis to live life and live it well and maintain sobriety. And in this year, in all the stress and pressure and falling apart and everything that I've been through, everything has suffered. The podcast has suffered for sure. I just didn't have clarity. I'm tired of talking about quitting drinking and getting sober. I feel like we're just talking about the same shit over and over and over again. And I'm 350 some episodes in, and it's like the same shit over and over and over again. And I'm bored with it. And I think you guys are bored with it. So I got really confused about the podcast and the direction and what I want to talk about and who I want to be. And I had a ton of personal struggles and financial struggles, and that took me down. I had health stuff going on. I mean, it has been a lot, and everything has suffered. But as we're coming to the end of the year, I've had this beautiful month of December where everything has come together and all of the hard work, because even through all of that, this whole year and just feeling awful most of this year, I still did all the work. I still hung in there doing the things just like I tell you to do because it's a recovery lifestyle, right? So even through all that stuff, I'm meditating. I'm writing in my journal you guys, I have filled more journals this year than I have filled in probably the last 5 years. Honestly, I have journaled my ass off and it's been a saving grace. My exercise, of course, because that's how I manage my anxiety. It's the only way I can manage my anxiety really successfully. So exercise for sure, always. I'm constantly talking to another alcoholic. I'm constantly in service work, right? Always being of service to others because that's what gets you out of yourself and allows you to stop thinking about yourself. You've heard me say this on a million episodes. When you're in a bad place, especially, you cannot sit and obsess about being in a bad place and just think about yourself and how terrible things are. That's why in 12 steps, we talk so much about service. You have to get out of yourself. The majority of my life is service. I am constantly, all day, every day, being of service to other people in various ways. Not only do I volunteer my time, right, for organizations, and I do things like that for sure. I love volunteer work. It just makes me feel really good and like I'm giving back to my community. And I don't love to give money to causes because I don't trust those people and how they spend it. So I would much rather give my time. So of course I'm doing that. But consistently throughout the day, I'm texting people, hey, how are you? What's going on? How can I help you? Is there anything I can do? How can I support you? In the Facebook groups, in my private Sober Society member community, like constantly of service, because that's what helps me not obsess about myself and my stuff, right? I also, this year, I had to do some really intensive trauma work because I had so many things going on and my stress and anxiety were so high. And all of those issues, all the struggles in the different areas of life are just telling you you have work to do. And that's what all that stuff was telling me. I had work to do. I had work to do around relationship stuff. I had work to do around financial stuff. I had work to do around business stuff. I had work to do that really I have been avoiding for a few years. So it comes to a head. That's what happens, right? Just like we talk about rock bottom. That's what rock bottom is. It's like you have all these little warning signs and the universe is constantly telling you, hey, pay attention, do this, get your shit together, focus, quit drinking, get your life together, go to the meetings, share your story. You get all these little warnings and we want to ignore and talk ourselves out of it and tell ourselves we're not that bad. And then you have a fucking rock bottom moment. Don't be surprised when you have a rock bottom moment because it's probably been coming forever. All of my rock bottom moments have been coming forever. They finally come to a head and I get just miserable enough that I have to take action. And that's everything we've been talking about in the last several weeks of podcast episodes is the actions you need to take to really get it together. Another part of this that I think is so important to share is because we're in this social media world, right? And I was thinking about this a few weeks ago. If you pop on my social media, for sure, you go on my Instagram or you look at my stories, like I'm living my best life. And there's a lot of truth in that. I do have a lot of fun. Even when I'm struggling, I'm still living a really good life because I have a recovery lifestyle. I know what to do. I am consistently feeding the pieces of myself I have to feed to stay healthy. Because I'll tell you, I'm not fucking drinking, period. I will do anything to make sure that I don't drink. So if you pop on my social media and you're looking at my stories, you're looking at my Instagram feed, it looks like everything's going great. And on some level it is, right? Because I'm okay no matter what, because I have the lifestyle. I know the things to do. I know how to keep myself healthy. But it doesn't mean just because I'm laughing or smiling or doing something fun in the morning, it doesn't mean that I'm not laying in a ball in bed crying my face off in the afternoon, right? As a business person, there's a certain level of marketing. Like I have to be posting. It's part of business. It's not optional anymore. So I have to be doing those things. But I was like, man, I don't think anybody knows that like I'm having a really shit year in a lot of ways. And I need to be sharing that because what I want you to understand again is it's a recovery lifestyle. If you want to stay healthy and if you want to be the person you really want to be and have the life you really want to have, then you have to make a recovery lifestyle and you have to follow through on the things even when you don't want to. And I'll also say, in all of my struggle this year and how challenging it has been emotionally, and I was really sad this year. At the same time, I had some of my best moments, some of my best trips connecting with some of my favorite human beings on the planet traveling. Like I've had the most amazing time and I've been able to bond with people who are so important to me. So it's not all bad and it's not all good, which is probably another valuable lesson, right? We get in this all or nothing thinking, like you pop on my social and you're like, oh, she's got it all together. She's living her best life. She's got success in business and she's confident. She's sober and all this stuff. And all of that is true. But that doesn't make the other part not true, right? Like it can be all really great and it can be really hard at the same time. And that's really what life is. It's all of it. When things get hard, that doesn't mean everything sucks. It just means things are hard. You can still have some of your best times even when things are hard. So now we wrap up to the end of this year and everything I've been through and all the struggles and all the sadness and all the tears and all the hard work and the trauma intensive and all the stuff I've done has all come full circle. And I've leveled up in every single way. And that's what I want you to be thinking about as we're closing out this year. How have you leveled up in 2024? Regardless of the challenges you had, how have you leveled up? How did those challenges serve you? How did that adversity make you better? Did your coping skills improve? Did you get better at staying sober through adversity? Did you learn how to cope with sadness better? Or did you learn more tools to deal with your anxiety? Did you finally start exercising a little bit? Like, how did your adversity serve you? Because my adversity this year has brought my life in every way, every life domain to a new level, the best version of myself I've ever been. I'm sitting here at the end of 2024 after a lot of suffering. I am stronger than I've ever been in my life. I'm more confident, which is probably a little terrifying, but whatever. I'm more confident. I have more clarity in my business and my personal life and my finances because I've had to fight my ass off in all those areas. And I feel better than I have felt in years. And you have to know the greatest growth comes from the greatest pain. And being successful, being successfully sober, being successful as a parent, being successful in business, all that means is that you fight through the adversity. It means that you understand what it takes to keep you healthy and keep you who you want to be and keep you sober, right? You understand your formula and you follow through on it no matter what. You fight through the adversity and you do the things to get to the other side of the adversity. Just like staying sober, it means you do the work. And that's everything we've been talking about in these last probably 5 or 6 episodes. I mean, really all 350 whatever episodes, that's all we talk about. But I've really honed in at the end of this year to give you really great tools that you can focus on with actionable steps that you can follow to get through this incredibly difficult time of year. Holiday season is really difficult for everybody in every way. And I've made these free resources for you, the 5 roadblocks sabotaging your sobriety, the sober holiday podcast playlist. It's 20 plus hours of episodes all about cravings and triggers. Like, I handpicked every episode in that thing. And I will link those in the show notes for you. So if you want to go grab those resources, you can get them. But we're doing all of that to lead into closing out this year and whatever it has brought you, just like I'm doing, right? So grateful for everything I've had to deal with this year. I'm so grateful for all the work that I had to do. And I'm so grateful that we are closing this year down because I am ready for a fresh start. And that's what we're doing with Dry January Bootcamp. I know a lot of you have done Dry January Bootcamp with me before. It starts next week. You can join. It's totally free. addictionunlimited.com/bootcamp. That will get you all the information you need. And we're going to get even more in depth in all of these topics, especially the roadblocks sabotaging your sobriety. That's really the thing that we're going to focus on. Because if you're still struggling to stay sober, I want you to get laser focused on what's really holding you back. And I want you to understand what exactly you need to do to get past those roadblocks that are really holding you back. Because we're all tired of fucking around with this stuff, right? Just like I was tired of myself in all these issues I've been struggling with all year. I get tired of myself. It was the same thing when I quit drinking. I was so effing tired of myself, tired of the drama, tired of the chaos, tired of making shitty choices for my life, tired of having shitty people in my life, tired of feeling shitty all day, every day, and hating myself. I was just exhausted by it. That's rock bottom, exhausted by it all. And if you're in that place and you're really ready to get it together and move on and move forward and create the life that you really want to live, then do this Dry January Bootcamp with me and start 2025 on the right foot. Because next year, all we're focusing on is recovery lifestyle. This is living life on life's terms, taking life as it happens. We're focusing on this is what we do to live the lifestyle that keeps us healthy and allows us to continue to level up regardless of what adversity life gives us. Because life is going to give you adversity. Life is just one thing after another, after another, after another. There are no breaks. There are no particularly easy times, right? Like, life is a lot of stress. We are all incredibly busy people. We are all wounded people. We are all people with anxiety and struggles, right? Life is challenging, but you can create your life to be exactly what you want it to be. And that's what our focus is going to be moving forward. It's recovery lifestyle. It's knocking it out of the park. It's full blown living the life that you've always wanted to live. And as we start a brand new year, I want you to join the fight with me. And I want you to know that 2025 can be your year. It's one decision away. All you have to do is decide 2025 is it. Let's rock this Dry January Bootcamp. There are prizes. I've got a couple of pretty big giveaways I'm going to do this year. I've revamped Bootcamp this year, new workbook, new topics. Like, this is going to be really fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's addictionunlimited.com/bootcamp. That will get you on the email list so you can get all the emails and know when the Facebook group is opening and all that good stuff. Like I said, it's totally free. I hope this episode has been enlightening for you guys, right? Again, I just want you to understand that it doesn't have anything to do with how long you've been sober or how strong your recovery is. Life is still life. And I'm sitting here, I will celebrate 19 years sober on January 7th, 2025. It's just around the corner. And life is still being life. It doesn't mean you get sober and live happily ever after and life never throws you another curveball. Life is constantly going to throw you curveballs, right? What we do is we figure out how to knock those curveballs out of the park, and we do it the best that we can do. And that's what I've been doing this year. I've spent a lot of time in survival mode. And this is another thing too, when you're in the midst of something, I know this for me for sure. When I'm really in the midst of it, this is why they say hindsight is 20/20. Because when I'm in the midst of it, I'm just in survival mode, right? Like I'm just getting up every day, trying to put one foot in front of the other and trying not to fall to pieces, right? I have a lot of responsibility. I have a ton of people that depend on me on a daily basis, and I don't get to fall apart, right? Not completely anyway. So I get in survival mode and I'm just trying to do the thing and just trying to make sure I get a podcast out and trying to make sure I'm posting and trying to make sure I'm connected with you guys and I'm answering your questions and responding to your messages, and I'm just trying to do it, right? And it's not until I kind of get to the other side of the adversity that I can talk about it, because I'm not even sure. Sometimes I don't even realize it's happening because it is just life and you're just in it and you're doing it and you're just trying to survive. But once I get through the other side, I can always look back and go, wow, that was a hot fucking mess. And I'm really grateful that's over, and then I can talk about it. So that's what a lot of this is for me, because as the year is winding down, I'm really recognizing how all of the work and all of the turmoil and challenges of 2024, I'm seeing how it's all coming together. And the universe is blessing me with things left and right to let me know that I'm on the right journey and that I'm doing the right work and I'm coming out on the other side of it finally. And I just feel better than I've ever felt. And that's the experience I want you to have. And that's what we're going to do in the Dry January Bootcamp, is really start the year off strong and get that sober life that you really want. I love you guys so much. I so appreciate you being on this journey with me and sharing all the beauty of sobriety with me and the challenges and adversity, and for always being such incredible supporters of me personally. You guys are phenomenal, and all of your messages mean so much to me. And when we get to connect and I get to meet you in the Sober Society community and I get to meet you face to face on webinars and all those things, it's what keeps me going. And I cannot thank you enough for being on this journey with me. And let's kill it in 2025. Love you guys. Have a fantastic holiday. Love your families. Kiss those little babies for me. addictionunlimited.com/bootcamp. I'll see you there. Love you. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you next week.
You've reached the end of another great episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. Candid and honest conversation about addiction and recovery. Be sure to visit us at addictionunlimited.com to join the conversation and access show notes and links to everything we talked about. Love this episode? Please take 30 seconds to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes to help us improve and give you the information you want. Thanks for listening. See you next week.